Hi.
Hi, Ed.
I'm not too early, am I?
No. Norm's over at the library fighting it out with somebody named John Dunn.
Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. Quote, unquote.
I'm glad you two made up. You and that dumb husband of mine.
You and Norm have really fixed this place up.
Well, Norm says a man's house is his castle. He calls this the dungeon. Guess that's not very funny. Hey, you don't seem quite with it tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess I was somewhere else.
Allison?
Well, that's part of it.
When you made up with her after the trial, I was so sure it would last. You know, happy ending, like me and Norm.
I guess things don't always turn out the way you want them to, do they?
Well, maybe they still could.
I doubt it.
I didn't mean to butt in. Just I know how awful it is to be lonely.
What do you mean, lonely?
Well, aren't you?
Are you kidding? I don't have time to be lonely. I got people running in and out of my garage all day long.
Oh, well, they don't count.
How do you figure?
Well, I mean, like, I practically always have somebody to talk to in the drugstore. Sometimes right in the middle of my asking, how's the baby, or that'll be $1.98 plus tax. I stop and think, what if I didn't have Norm? What if I came up here to this apartment and he wasn't here? I get a lump in my throat. I get scared.
You two haven't been fighting, have you?
No. Just that I know what I have and I couldn't stand to lose it. It's weird about things. I remember you from high school. I stood behind you once in the cafeteria. Rodney Harrington. You were so in and I was so out. I wouldn't have dared to say hello to you if my life depended on it.
And now I'm just the tired old brother-in-law?
Oh, I didn't mean that. It's just that Norm and I were both so messed up. But you and Allison were...
Look, you got found, and we got lost. That's the way it goes.
Do you really feel like you're lost, Rod?
No, not really. I'll tell you what. As long as you keep a light burning in the window, there's always a place I can call home.
Where you been?
Outside. You checking up on me?
Yeah, I am.
You wanted some cigarettes, didn't you?
There's cigarette machines all over the hospital.
I ran into Ann Howard.
Here in the hospital?
Yeah.
Man, she's got a lot of nerve.
Honey, why are you so upset about Chris?
What, are you some kind of a nut? He's all busted up. Why wouldn't I be upset?
I mean, before tonight. He's worried about you.
What'd he say?
He said you want him to go back to Boston. And about how you wanted Allison to kind of talk him into it.
No kidding.
He just mentioned it, that's all.
You holding anything back from me?
Well, why would I?
What else did he say?
Nothing.
Sure?
Positive.
Listen, I want my brother left alone. I wanted him left alone tonight on the wharf. But Ann Colby came along and she didn't care what I wanted. She did what she wanted. She's wrong, Sandy. She's wrong, not me. You got that straight?
I got it straight.
Dr. Morton, emergency. Dr. Morton, emergency.
Miss Dodd, did you get the report yet?
No, I didn't.
I've been straightening up the therapy room. Use the phone.
Of course.
Dr. Bates, this is Ann Howard calling. I'm on the staff here.
Yes, I know.
I'm calling from inside.
What is it, Miss Howard?
I was wondering, do you have a report on a patient called Christopher Weber?
Well, that's Dr. Rossi's patient.
I know, but I thought perhaps you might have the preliminary.
I'd appreciate it if you'd check with Dr. Rossi.
Well, I don't want to disturb him. Perhaps if you could ask him for me.
I'm afraid I couldn't do that, Miss Howard. Dr. Rossi will be available soon.
Thank you, Dr. Bates.
Sure. Goodbye.
Rules. Mike. How is he?
Go home, man.
They wouldn't tell me anything. They said I had to ask you.
I don't feel like going through a full medical report right now.
Oh, please, Mike.
Ann, did you go to the wharf to see him tonight?
Yes,
Why?
I had to.
After we both decided it would be best for everyone concerned if you stayed away from him?
Well, you don't understand.
No, I don't. Not anymore.
I had to talk to him.
What was there left to say? I mean, hadn't you said it all over and over and over again?
I know, but...
But you had to go over it one more time. Ann, don't you understand? He's trying to forget about what happened to him. All right, maybe you can't. But that doesn't mean everyone else should have to relive it. Or don't you care anymore?
Oh, how can you say that, Mike?
Why was he running away from you at the wharf? Why, Ann?
Mike, I didn't want for this to happen.
All right, then you should have stayed away from him.
Just tell me if he's all right.
I can't, not yet.
If only I could be sure.
Don't you know when to quit? Chris Weber's here in the hospital now because he tried to get away from you and because you couldn't or you wouldn't let him do it.
Couldn't help it.
Well, that makes it even worse. Because you lost control, he's here in the hospital. Look, I'm not talking to you now as Mike Rossi. I'm speaking strictly as Chris Weber's doctor. And I want you to stay away from my patient.
Mike, please don't...
Go on with your investigation if you have to. But let Stephen Cord do that. As long as Chris Weber's in this hospital, I don't want you anywhere near him.
You're on your way out, lady. All the way out.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
Trust me, Rodney. Have faith in me. Take my hand, Rodney. Trust me.
You didn't belong here as Mrs. Rodney Harrington. And you don't belong here as Mrs. Stephen Cord.
Get out! Get out of my life. Now!